Oh, it's locked. Orientation is locked. Do you need to turn on the light in here? What's that? Yeah, okay.
It's just dark. All right. Hi, people.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, Grand Theft. Hey, Wrist Disabled Writer, what's up? Hey, Noe. News Now Fort Worth. Winslow. What's that? Oh, maybe you can pull up, Nah, you don't have to read it. I was gonna say my friend. Hey from Australia. Hey from Puerto Rico. What's up, guys? Princeton Pirate. Yeah.
Barbara Downey.
Don Shaw. What's up, Don? She Devil. Richard. Sits to death. All right. We've been on for a minute. Let's go ahead and give some updates.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, yesterday made it to the Guilford County Courthouse in Greensboro. We posted that video, I think, this morning. You guys have saw or heard that. They denied me access to the court again, denied me access to the clerk, everything that's in the courthouse there. So we got the clerk's office, there's public records, there's foreclosure documents that they only post there that are in person. So to get a copy of it, you have to go in yeah. So that's an issue. And then I found out today that the sheriff's office, remember the Pop Goes the Weasel thing? We were trying to find the sheriff's office where the public accessible areas for doing getting services from the sheriff's office in Guilford County. They have a new jail, which we met, I think, Johnson over there. He directed us to the admin building, which is locked and restricted access. But there's nothing there to indicate that to me. So that was that video. But then I've talked to the county manager today, or the manager's office. I don't know if his manager is Robin from the county manager's office. She called over because she didn't know what was up with that. She called over to the sheriff's office. And it turns out that you can get services in Guilford County from the sheriff's office by going to the courthouse, the Guilford County Courthouse. They're in the basement of the courthouse right next door, which they're not letting me into, right? So they're denying me access to all these public services that every other member of the public can get access to. Not every other member. You just have to submit to the violation of the First Amendment, and then they will say, yeah, go ahead. Yep. So that's interesting that you found out about that, about the sheriff's office. So that's the update on that. I talked to Kurt. Is it Brennerman? Is that right?
I think
He's the guy that's over the public records department for the city of Greensboro. He's based out of the Central Library in Greensboro, downtown Greensboro. It's on Church Street. Really cool guy, really knowledgeable about the public records law in North Carolina, and like very genuine guy. It seemed like he was actually interested in helping and learning about any of the issues I'm having. And so I brought stuff to his attention, and he was taking notes the whole time. And then he even called over to the Greensboro Police Department, because that's the main place with the city of Greensboro that we're having problems getting the records from the police department, particularly about the drug box they have there. They have a medication box. I'm going to tell you why this is such an important thing here in Greensboro. Well, there's an opioid epidemic nationwide, right? Same thing in North Carolina, and the Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem area is like this high trafficked area. It's like this transportation hub. There's actually right down the road from the Central Library in Greensboro on Church Street. It's the corner of Church and Washington is the transportation depot. So they have a Amtrak train going through. They have a Greyhound bus, and then they have the city bus hub right there. So I did that. I checked that out after, because on the way out, some guys in the entryway, I chatted with them and asked if they knew anything that they needed to check it up on. So they directed me over there so the security can get rowdy and overstep their bounds and power tripping. So I went to go check that out. So that video, we might be posting in the next few days for the depot. But back to the medicine box. I followed up at the police department. Well, while I was talking to Kurt, he actually called over to the police department attorney's office to check to see if she's tracking the records request. Because shout out to my friend in Puerto Rico, when I was unsuccessful online with that video on doing the records request through the PERT system, a friend from all the way in Puerto Rico looked at that and said, "Hey, I can help out." And they went through the thing, found out that the fields of first name, last name are required, even though if you leave them blank, you don't get an error message. It doesn't say that they're required. It doesn't say that you can fill something out wrong. So it says that even if, according to him or her, that even if you can see, it doesn't give you an error message, but it's requiring you give first and last name, which is against the state records law that you can do it anonymously. So I brought that to Kurt's attention. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's the problem. We need to fix that." So he's like, "Thanks for bringing that to my attention." And so he's like super on it. He's trying to work this stuff out. Same thing with Donna Gray. She's the ADA coordinator in the city of Greensboro. She's on it too. She's aware of the stuff, the accessibility things. They're working on getting those things fixed. But when we called the attorney from the police department, she's like, "Yeah, I'm aware of this. I'm trying to work on it." Or I was made aware of it. I forget her exact verbiage, but he was clarifying that I wanted to inspect the records, and then she seemed like that was new information to her, that she didn't understand what that meant, or that we could do that. And he's like, no, it's okay. Like the public records law says you can either get a copy or you can actually request to inspect the record. Actually, the actual record is provided and you check it out. You don't get a copy of it. You don't get some other thing that's made up on the spot. You want to check the actual record, right? And then you can make your own copy. You can take pictures or video. You can scan it. You can bring a portable scanner in and scan it to email or whatever. So anyway, Kurt's all over. He's working on it. I did check up on the police department later after that this morning, and it was the same thing. Same ring around the rosy at the records department. I made records requests or tried to orally, and they're like, "Well, I don't understand. You need to go to a different department that has those records. We don't do that." I'm like, "Wait, is this the records department?" It's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, then who has that?" I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to direct you over there so you can go find it. I'm like, "Hold on. That's your job, isn't it? To find the records and then get back to me?" So that's the records department. They're still having issues, right? Hopefully Kurt and Donna will get them some training that they desperately need. So I was able to submit a complaint with their IA people regarding the records refusal, that they're breaking the records law. This is the third time now, because I was there yesterday evening and they did the same thing. They refused to process my request. So hopefully we'll get them in line. But the medicine box is important because we found out last night doing some cursory research that, you want to tell them?
Not really.
No? We found out.
I did my talking for the day.
You did? Okay. We found out that the quote judge that I believe was the senior judge at the Guilford County Courthouse last year in August.
It's the one that Vincent replaced.
Right, the one that this Judge Vincent, Teresa Vincent, who's the one that's denying me access to the court. She replaced her predecessor overdosed on heroin. This is the story, like in the news, right? That he dead, yeah, died because of his use of narcotics or abuse of narcotics, right? So it's sad, it's that this person is suffering to the point of death, and this just is a real life present example in this place about the abuse and the suffering from the misuse of these medications, right? May have been medication, may have been street drugs. I don't know the specifics. We're going to try to do records requests to get the specifics and find out if there was an investigation into that. But where does a judge get drugs, right? Where does a judge get drugs to feed his addiction or her addiction? Where's, would they go buy it on the street? Would they think they'd risk their risk everything by doing deals on the street? No. Are people that sell drugs only on the street? No, they're a higher class. They're higher class drug dealers. They're middle class and higher class drug dealers. So maybe they know somebody that does that. Could they be getting their drugs funneled through law enforcement with these drug boxes? That's a possibility, right? The law enforcement people are in and out of the courts all the time, dealing with the judges. So that could be a potential place of where they're getting, untracked medications and narcotics. So in Greensboro, the drug box, I was told, is being regulated by the Vice Department, which is the drug department. Like, that seems like a conflict of interest. Like, they don't need to have their hands on this untracked source of medicine, right? So I'm going to set up an appointment with the chief and discuss the concerns here. We're also trying to get these records fulfilled on what's going on with the drug box and any arrests or citations issued in last year regarding prescription medication. So this is all, these are things that are connected. Potentially may not be connected with the judge, but there's an avenue for a connection, right? At least accountability. There's definitely an opioid problem, and it's the drug war that the pharmaceutical companies are waging on the people. And so anyway, I went to the courthouse this morning, Guilford County Courthouse in Greensboro. Tim was there working the desk, and the first thing he's like, "Hey man, people on YouTube are freaking out about you. They're scared for you." Like, and she actually called me right before I got there. So sorry about that. Sorry about the false alarm. I was trying to prep the live in case something went south, that I needed help. Then I don't have to like try to scroll through all these different things to try to activate it and title it and all this stuff. Then I could just flip over to the YouTube and click on the button, have it go live. That was the intention. Just have it prepped. Because if I need to do it quickly, it's become harder to do quickly because YouTube's adding the mandatory stuff about marking it for children or not. So sorry about that. But she got on, and thanks for reaching out to her. She got on and hopefully put you guys at ease. But Tim was that was the first thing he said. But so if you watch the video yesterday, you can hear Stephanie say, "We'll get back to you first thing in the morning, or you can come in." That's what she said, right? So that's what I did. They didn't get back to me first thing in the morning. I had a few other stops before I got there, so it was mid-morning when I got there, and still no response. I asked to talk to Stephanie. Stephanie did not come down. She didn't seem to want to come down and address me or this issue. And they said that they were waiting on a response and maybe would get back to me in the afternoon. So I went to the county manager's office, which is just right next door, to try to do a records request for Stephanie Wallace, and I think it's what the other one is it Patricia or Dixon? Patricia Dixon, maybe. I think that's her backup. To do basically the two ADA coordinators there at the courthouse to get a records request on their training records, specifically their ADA training records, right? Well, Robin, who's been really helpful there at the and the receptionist, I forgot her name, at the county manager's office, they told me that those personnel fall under the AOC, which is like the administration of the court, and that's a state-run thing, North Carolina state-run thing. So that's not records that the county would be responsive to. I need to go through the state. Okay, well, I don't know where that's housed, so I went back to the courthouse, right? Like, if they have state employees in here, and one of them's an ADA coordinator, hopefully she can come speak to a disabled person about how to get records pertaining to her job specifically through the state agency that would be responsive to those records. That was why I went back afterwards, and to follow up on if there's any response about the form that she filled out for me, right? Well, it turns out that I guess she emailed me during this period, and her email Well, Tim, I think was on lunch break. The other guy, there's another security guy there that said they were still waiting on a response. And then I ran into a fun guy named Beyond. So shout out to you, Beyond, who was trying to go in to observe and report on what was going on in the court. I think he wanted to actually go into courtroom and find out what's going on in the courtrooms. I think he wanted to take his computer and maybe some other stuff to record and take notes. So he stopped at security because he was asking questions about the electronic stuff. He's like, "Is there an exemption? How do I do that?" I heard him talking about that, and then he saw that I was standing there with cameras, and he's like, "You look like you know something." So we stepped outside and talked for a while. So that's a fun interaction you guys can look forward to. And he wants to get more active in keeping the courts accountable. Then Tim comes. I guess he came back from lunch. He came out and said, "Hey, there's an email. I guess." Uh, what?
I'm sorry. Furry Potato really wants a wrench. She wants
Oh,
to be a mod.
yeah.
They're screaming at me not to give her mod power because she's gonna ban everybody. And she just donated $9.09 for her wrench.
Why would furry ban? I don't think can you give furry a wrench? Furry like furry. Yeah, we love furry.
And I got nervous because Mrs. Potato said not to.
Oh.
Then she'd have to take the phone away.
Oh.
So
Nah, furry would be nice.
never give a wrench to furry. They're speaking. I'm saying.
Furry loves us. Furry helped promote the channel and got us up to over 1,000.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know she didn't have a
Furry has a great idea about doing this freedom tour. Responded to your comment, by the way. She's like, you need to go all around the country and do this in every city, and and just like become incredibly wealthy through all the lawsuits. I'm like, yeah, cool. Be my chauffeur, or just get that Cybertruck going.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We just deck it out, have it wrapped with like freedom stuff, and
Furry does love you, but she's a whacker with a wrench.
Okay.
All right, I'm coming, Furry. She's got all these little devil heads now. I'm a little scared.
All right. Anyway, the Tim came out and he's like, "Hey, they should have emailed you." So I stopped my phone and checked the email, and this is what the email came in from Stephanie. You want to read that? Actually, that's the one I do want you to read, if you can.
Okay. Furry play nice.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So Stephanie Wallace, the quote ADA coordinator at the Guilford County Courthouse in Greensboro, sent this email. So yeah, today at 12:27, they sent an email rather than coming down and talk to me because I was on site. She sent me an email, and here's what it says. Yeah, can you guys give us a one if you can hear Mrs. Justice, guys, so I don't know if I turn this thing off or not. Give me one if you can hear.
Oh, we got a two. Oh, I wasn't talking. I probably should talk if you want to hear me talking. Can you hear me? Barely. Can you hear me now? She's my Pam says yes. All right. Whoa. The van doesn't want us to kill the battery.
You need to turn it.
Hold on, everybody. Whoa. All right. Stephanie Wallace. Good afternoon, Blind Justice. I'm emailing to let you know we will be in touch with you on Tuesday, January 14th, 2020, after we have had time to speak with legal counsel for the Administrative Office of the Courts and the ADA Coordinator for the Administrative Office of the Courts. We want to be certain we are making the proper accommodations for you and anyone else with a disability moving forward. Sincerely, Stephanie M. Wallace, Trial Court Coordinator.
Bum bum bum. Right. So what does that mean? That means that the judge doesn't know the law, and the judge needs to ask for help, for legal counsel, on how else she can try to wipe her butt with the Constitution and the ADA and the State Open Records Act, and get away with it. Like, how much can we get away with legally? Let me get legal counsel to tell me, to give me backing to say I could get away with this. It's basically what I understand that to mean. And not, oh yes, of course, let's honor freedom and the Constitution, and even though the Constitution limits freedom in some aspects, it enumerates some, but it also limits some in others. So it's not the end all be all, people. So just so you know. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I did have a great conversation with Beyond, and actually a pretty good encounter with Tim. too. Like there was definitely some wheels turning with him when we talked about freedom and upholding his oath, and uh, you know, letting him realize like, but he's still part of the system. Granted, he's in a sticky situation, but he is choosing to uphold an unconstitutional order from somebody in a black robe rather than honoring his oath. Uh, and you know, I know he's torn up about this and he's in a sticky situation, but hey, he's at least I think we've come to an understanding that if I decide to go to in through security to try to get these records without a piece of paper or a blessing, that I don't think Tim is going to try to physically stop me. He may, you know, direct other security to, but we'll find out. Maybe. I don't know if I want to push it at this point. Uh, I'm not all about them beating on me to so I can try to find out if there's a house I want to buy. Yeah, or can afford to buy or whatever. All right, so that's basically it for the updates. I think you guys are caught up. I mean, I think if there's anything else. There's one from Asheboro. So Asheboro Police, Mark, I think the guy that is assigned as the police chief down in Asheboro, Mark. He's emailed me a couple times. He said he reviewed their drug box policy and he's found that they're actually not in compliance, and that he's working to rectify that. He also said that they're retraining their public records people, and so there's that movement in the Asheville PD department. I sent him some, I think it's Title 21 of the U.S. Code that talks about how that it's a federal law to report and have a record of the drugs if you're a collection, if you're collecting them. And so I sent him some extra info to help him with some guidance. And I think that's it. I think you guys are up to date on the Randolph County stuff. We may have to check on them pretty soon to see if they're implementing it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I did talk to Donna because today, Donna Gray, the ADA coordinator at the city, and addressed another little thing I found at a railing in the police department and the records denial again. So she hopefully is gonna follow up with that. She's been following up on the other issues I found that are the ADA issues in the city, and has gone out and measured things and verified things, and she's working on ordering stuff and implementing the change to bring the city of Greensboro into compliance. It's just the county, Guilford County, has been dug in. There's a guy, Jim, I think Secor, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's the county attorney and the attorney for the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. We've been in contact, email traffic. There's a few letters that if you guys are interested in, Christina could read, but we don't have to do it right now. We'll do it later. But he's basically trying to cover their butt by trying to prove that they're working, you know, to correct things or deny that there's anything that needs to be corrected. Is really what a lot of his stuff and his email traffic says. Is more of a denial that there's anything that needs to be corrected. He suggested that if I wasn't comfortable being, there's just one tidbit. He said if I wasn't comfortable being guided by these security personnel, that I could sit in a wheelchair and have them wheel me through. So that's not really an accommodation. That's yeah, it's completely like Anyway, that's a whole nother. It's just these guys are they're in it and they're in over their heads and they're scrambling. So, you want to read some comments?
Furry's timing out, people.
Timing out, furry.
I think it was only one person, and I think it was but I'm not sure because I can't keep up because you guys are talking really fast, and there's like 281 of them.
Oh, lots of people. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Guilford County and Greensboro in here. Like, hi. If I haven't run into you yet, expect it. We'll probably encounter each other sooner. Yeah, sooner or later. I did run into a pleasant lady from the Greensboro legal department. She works in City Hall at Greensboro. I forgot her name. It may have been Jessica or Jennifer or something like that. So sorry for her name. But she was pleasant. She had a pleasant chat while I was waiting on Donna. So hi. And yeah, didn't run into many obstructions on the sidewalks. I walked probably, I don't know, 12, 14 blocks today. Didn't really hit many or any obstructions, ADA violations while I was out on the sidewalk. The only one I found was in the police department on the railings. So Greensboro is actually actively trying to stay ADA compliant and up to date. And when you bring stuff to their attention via Donna Gray, she's on it. She investigates it and verifies it or falsifies it, and then works to correct it. So kudos to Greensboro in that regard. You just got to get their police department up to speed on a lot of things. Comments?
I see lots of smiley faces, hearts. Lori, world has your back. Oregon's watching you and watching for you to invest in my mind.
Hey, since we have a few hundred people in here, let's do a shout out to a couple channels. One is Horizon News. I forget if that's the whole news service. I think that's it. Horizon News Service. Somebody find them and plug that channel, please. We're trying to get them up to 1,000. I don't know if they're up there yet, but they're doing some pretty good work down in Houston, Texas, and they keep getting blocked by I think, the same bureaucratic system keeps trying to jam them up and block them from sharing the news stories about what's going on with the corruption down in Houston. So somebody throw that link in there if you can. It's Horizon News. And the other one I want to plug is Luck Follier's Institute. And Luck Follier's Institute does ADA training, and he's an ADA advocate. We had him on the live, I think maybe one of our last lives. And great guy and freedom lover. And so he knows a lot about the ADA, the ins and outs of it. He's been gone through a certified training course, so he knows more about it than I do, the ins and outs, and has actually been helping me navigate some of the stuff. So that's Luck Follier's Institute and Horizon News. I think it's Horizon News Service. I forget what the last part of it is. But so shout out to you guys, and keep doing the work that you're doing for freedom.
You kept it in your headset. That's why they can't hear me.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked.
Like really close.
That's why I
Is
asked
that better?
for a 1 or a 2.
They could hear me as long as I was talking louder.
I'll turn it off my headset if I needed to.
Go talk in your face like
Yeah,
this.
I want to be able to hear random comments too, man. I don't mind sharing the microphone.
Yeah, you don't mind.
If we need it.
Luck Follier's Institute, yeah. I don't see links yet. I'm gonna search them. You can scroll comments.
Okay, I will do the commenting. Hoo-ha-ha. Speaking of. Timed out. Speaking of, these comments are pure nonsense. Somebody said they're nonsense. Who? I say hi to people when I pass them, but they don't say hi to me. Yeah, that happens a lot. 22 vets a day commit suicide. And I talked to, I actually mentioned that in today's video with Tim, and suggest that but one of the potential reasons for that is so the statistics on it, 75% of those 22 a day are Vietnam era vets, and they're aging out of the workforce, And so you come home from war, you try to stay busy. You if you can work, you work. If you could do other things, find a hobby, do something. Just try to stay active so you don't think about you know the shittiness of war and the atrocities that you may have witnessed or committed. And when when these guys are aging out of the work, they go home and they have all this time on their hands to think and process and actually, you know, that stuff slows down and it's right there and it comes back and I think that's why they end up punishing themselves. I think they don't have any other system of of justice, any framework for it other than this system of vengeance that is here. That's all that most people have known is this eye for an eye system. Uh, so they think they deserve to be punished, and so they punish themselves and they kill themselves. And it's sad, it's tragic, because there's healing. It's definitely hard. It's rough uh, to have to face and think about. But but yeah, so there's that. Mr. Potato, yeah, what's up?
Umberto wants to know, inquiry, what is the job of the ADA coordinator when she sees the judgment legal against a person with their disability?
Yeah, the job of the ADA coordinator, as far as I know, would be to help be an advocate for the person with a disability, not for the judge, and should be to help educate the judge on what they're doing is illegal and violating the ADA. She should be working for the person with a disability and not for the judge. But that's not how they think. They think it's just blue line thing. You know, they're on the other side of the line, and so they end up not thinking about it in those terms, and they think about it in terms, sadly, uh, of keeping their job. They gotta keep food on the table, and Tim said something to me to that effect. That he knows what's morally right. He knows what he swore an oath to, and for him to actually act on that would jeopardize his job, like faster than what he's currently doing is jeopardizing his job. I mentioned that to him, I think, the first day. Like, it's currently jeopardizing his job. It's just going to take longer to maybe take his job. Not that I want to take his job, but you know, yeah, I want him to be free to not infringe on people and take away their freedom.
He's talking about towers and antennas, weaponized frequencies, modulations.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, the ADA coordinators. I doubt that's why we went through records. Help you guys can help. That's something I need help with is tracking down through the AOC, like who's the custodian of the records for these people.
AOC?
Yeah, AOC is the administration of the court. So it's a state. I believe I know as far as I know, North Carolina state. Um, maybe judiciary. I don't know. Got to figure out who the custodian is of the records, who we can submit the records request to. It's probably going to be at the state level through the judicial system, and try to get the records of. We'll just start asking for all of them. Randolph County's ADA coordinator, Guilford County's ADA coordinator, and we'll just start asking for all of them we can. Let's get training records. Let's find out who actually has been trained, and who's not, who's just in name, who's just been named. Yeah, most don't know their jobs, Mrs. Potato. Yeah.
Clear disabilities, even by wearing perfume.
Yeah, right.
Great, Mike told her about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason for the scarf. That's actually, I think that's a that came to play in another video.
Sorry.
Oh,
Have to like lay across here to talk to people.
can't hear you. Okay, I'm gonna switch sides of
Can you
this.
do that? Wear it backwards? Try that. Is that any better, guys? Maybe because it's outside. Mute thing.
All right. Yeah,
Play game is free. No audio.
there we go.
Okay. How about now?
Lady Saga. Emphasis. Justice no audio.
Here, I'm gonna.
You broke it.
No audio still.
Back. There's
Back. Back.
Okay. Sorry.
one. Yes. All right.
Let me kill the
Mrs. Potato. No sound.
my reader so that you can just do it.
Oh.
Sorry. Now I'm blind and deaf.
Good.
Switch off.
You just can't hear your phone.
I can't hear you guys talk. All right.
Turn off your device. No.
There we go.
Want to come to my area and team up?
Where?
Fuck DSS. Where are you, man? Or woman?
DSS. I think they're not too far. And I don't want to cut into Jeff's time. I know he starts around 6 and he's got a rest. So what time is it? Yeah.
Dylan Shay. It's 6:00 something. 06.
All right.
The
All right.
backpack incident.
We're gonna go ahead and bounce out for the night and direct you guys to go check out Jeff. Is here audits. If he's not live now, he's probably going live soon. So
Lori Singh said, "You help me because I'm going blind. How to act on what will happen in my future." Thank you. Big lots of hearts.
yeah, yeah. If you need, if you want more ideas or what apps I use and different areas to get training on Braille and stuff like that, just shoot me an email. It's insightisfree@gmail.com. Or give me a call or a text. It's 360-226-6297. And I think that contact information should be posted in the description of all videos. I think it's standard for us. So I know there's some person actually another visually impaired person that was trying to get a hold of me, and I missed their comments until just recently. So apologize for that. We usually try to respond and get back to everybody.
Yeah.
But some things
have an influx of
some things takes a while to get through, and sometimes they fall through the crack, or the comments are reserved or whatever, and emails sometimes get thrown in spam or what's the other one? It gets lost in the mix. So
yeah. So I lost you.
But just be persistent. Keep trying. Keep trying to get a hold of us if we're not responding. But yeah, go check out Jeff. I'm sure he's got updates on his arrest from today. And any other stuff?
Yeah. I don't know. They love us.
All right.
Lots of love.
Yep.
What?
Peace and love to everybody.
Sorry, guys.
And you guys stay free. And as always, Deo Presso Libre.
LED. But don't be annoying. Finish. Button. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Alert. Cancel. Button.